You're listening to Muscle and Mind, your weekly dose of science-backed strength and strategy, hosted by Blake Anders, a sports science grad who breaks down fitness and mindset into real-world results. Train smart, think strong. This is Muscle and Mind.
Welcome back to another episode of Muscle and Mind, the podcast where science meets strength. And today's episode is all about breaking down the basics of macronutrients. Whether you're looking to build muscle or shed some fat, understanding your macros is key, and I'm here to help you make sense of it all. But before we dive deep, let's strip it back to bare essentials. So what exactly are macronutrients? In simple terms, these are the nutrients that provide you with energy or calories. They include protein, carbohydrates, and fats, and they're called macro because you need them in larger quantities compared to micronutrients, which you only need in small doses. Each macronutrient has its own role and its own calorie content. Protein and carbohydrates have about 4 calories per gram, while fats are more energy-dense, offering about 9 calories per gram. Understanding these macronutrients is crucial because they directly influence your ability to reach different fitness goals. Maybe you're aiming to build muscle, then protein becomes your best friend. Trying to lose fat? Your caloric intake needs more careful management. Each macro type benefits your body in different ways. Proteins are vital for muscle repair and growth. Carbohydrates are the preferred energy source, especially for high-intensity workouts. And fats, despite their bad rap, are essential for hormone production and nutrient absorption. Now, let's talk about why understanding your macronutrient needs is pivotal. Look, you can be eating the healthiest foods known to man, but if your macros are out of whack, you might find yourself spinning your wheels. If you're taking in too much of one macro and not enough of another, you won't see the results you expect, whether that's due to consuming too many calories or maybe not consuming enough to support lean muscle gains or recover properly. So how do we quantify these macronutrient needs? Let's start with the fitness goal in mind. If your aim is to build muscle, a recommended starting point for protein intake is about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. You'll want ample carbs because they are your primary energy source, particularly if you're engaging in intense workouts. Examples being those sprint intervals or heavyweight lifting regimes. Carbs around 2 to 3 grams per pound generally align with those needing high energy. Fats can make up the rest, usually contributing about 20% to 30% of your daily calorie intake, diversified between saturated, unsaturated, and omega-3s for a balanced intake. On the flip side, if you're focusing on fat loss, the game changes a bit. Protein now becomes even more crucial for maintaining muscle mass in a calorie deficit. For those trying to trim down, protein is often maintained or even increased to about 1 to 1.2 grams per pound to ensure satiety and muscle preservation. Carbs typically drop, depending somewhat on individual tolerance and activity levels, to about 1 to 2 grams per pound. But remember, this has to be carefully balanced because you still need energy for effective training. Fats might increase slightly in percentage to compensate, providing necessary hormonal support with fewer carbs. So how do you calculate your own macro needs? This involves a bit of math and a touch of personalization. Start by calculating your total daily energy expenditure, TDEE, which factors in your basal metabolic rate, the number of calories you burn at rest, and adds in the calories burned through physical activity. Using an online calculator or consulting a professional can help you pinpoint this. Once you know your TDEE, you can adjust for your goal. For fat loss, you'd eat at a caloric deficit, around 20% less than your TDEE, while for muscle gain, you'd aim for a slight surplus, maybe 10% over. Distribute these calories mainly via your macros, adjusting protein first based on body composition goals, then carbs and fats accordingly. There are apps out there that make this a lot easier, where you can log your foods and automatically see your macro breakdown. Tracking your intake, especially when you're starting, is crucial to get a feel for portion sizes and nutrient distribution. However, the goal isn't to forever track every crumb you eat, but to educate yourself enough to eye macros on your plate easily. As you progress, awareness leads to more intuitive eating, but the initial phase might involve some deliberate attention to detail. Are there misconceptions, though? Absolutely. A common one being that all fats lead to fat gain, which isn't true. Fats are essential, and the type and amount matter more than their sheer presence. Another is the idea that carbs are the enemy. Carbs fuel performance. They replenish glycogen stores and aid in recovery. It's about choosing the right kinds, those slow-digesting complex carbs like oats, brown rice, or sweet potatoes, over refined sugars. The next question often asked is, how do you fit these macros into your daily meals? Step 1 is to individualize based on your lifestyle. If you're busy and can't prep meals each day, prep in advance. Focus on integrating whole foods, lean proteins like chicken, fish, tofu, or beans, healthy fats like avocados, nuts or olive oil, and carbohydrates that have fiber, like quinoa or mixed vegetables. Don't overlook micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals crucial for bodily processes, and proper hydration. These don't offer calories but are absolutely essential for disease prevention, bone health, and muscle function. Always aim to fill your plate with a variety of colors, different fruits and veggies, as a natural approach to getting diverse micronutrients. While focused on the macro game, real-life examples can illustrate this effectively. Take a bodybuilder in the cutting phase. They reduce total calorie intake, but keep their protein intake high to avoid muscle loss, while gradually tinkering with the carb-fat ratio to maintain energy without fat storage. Meanwhile, endurance athletes on a performance diet might cycle their carb intake according to their training demands, focusing on replenishment and protein for muscle repair. Ultimately, achieving goals is about consistency and sustainable habits as much as specific diets. Remember, it's not about being perfect, but being consistent. Plan your nutrition to ensure quality food intake most of the time while allowing flexibility. Enjoy a diverse diet, strive for balance, and prioritize whole foods. Steer clear of labels defining you as low-carb, high-protein, or fat-free. It's about what makes you feel energized and vital daily. As we wrap up today's conversation on macros, take away the understanding that nutrition is less about restriction and rules, and more about knowledge and adaptation. You now have a roadmap to make informed decisions about your nutrition, aligned with your goals. Harness the power of macros, track when needed, adjust along the way, but make sure whatever you do enriches your life, not controls it. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Muscle and Mind. We explored macronutrients, a pivotal part of fitness and overall health. We simplified the science, broke down calculations, debunked misconceptions, and offered practical advice on integrating these elements into your daily meals to achieve your fitness goals efficiently. Remember to stay consistent, be aware of your individual needs, and use this knowledge to fuel both your body and mind positively. Catch you next time on another insightful journey through the science of strength and strategy. Until then, stay strong, stay smart, and keep pushing your limits. Goodbye for now.
That wraps up this episode of Muscle and Mind, where strength meets strategy. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to follow and share it with someone who trains with purpose. For more episodes, tips, and resources, head over to muscleandmindweekly.com. Until next time, train smart, think strong.